Two, one, action. Hello, hello, hello. We are on. Let Facebook do its thing. Let me share it to your page. Let Facebook do its thing. Let me share it to you. All right. So, welcome, guys, to the Purpose Lab. You already know it is Tuesday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, to the Boss Up Chat Series. Definitely type in the chat your city and state where you're tuning in from. Make sure I can see the comments. We're going to let Facebook do its thing and rev up some people.
Okay.
And we are going to get started. Okay, so go on your page. Who do we have tuning in with us tonight? We're excited about tonight as we're talking about, bossing up. This is the place and the safe haven. So we're going to go ahead and start. As you guys do or do not know, my name is Lauren L.C. Thriver. I'm an entrepreneur here in New York City, and we have the lovely
Cities from Hotlanta.
Hotlanta. Is it hot down there? You got the shoulder out.
Yes, it was like 90 degrees today.
Okay, it was about 80, like 75, 80 up here. So I was happy because yesterday I literally had a leather jacket and a scarf on, and then today I'm like rocking a blazer and a dress. So it's confusing.
Yeah, I heard it was cool up there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's warmer right now. It's supposed to be nice all week, so I'm excited because it was like it was really cold for.
Mm-hmm. Good.
As we come on, like I said, this is a safe haven and a sacred place for our entrepreneurs out there. We definitely like to speak to the woman entrepreneur out there, but we definitely welcome you guys. You guys always tune in. We love your feedback and, getting a lot of great feedback and questions. The guys seem to be a lot more engaging than some of y'all females out there. Do we have to talk to a different crowd out there? Mm-hmm. So, Anissa and I come together Tuesday nights, and we're here to, hopefully you guys can hear me. If you hear me, let me know, type in the chat. But we come together on Tuesdays. We're both, entrepreneurs, we're business coaches, and, we came together in the spirit of, us entrepreneurs need to start coming together a lot more, especially women entrepreneurs. We find that a lot of women usually feel like, the next entrepreneur woman is going to get in their way to excel and exceed forward. So, that's what we are standing for and what we're here about. And, we came together and invented the Purpose Lab. So we are in the lab. This is where all the experience and experiments of entrepreneurship is going down here. Like I said, this is the Boss Up Chat Series. So we speak on where you are, no matter where you are, even if you're not an entrepreneur. We're here to help you and talk about, for you to boss up to the next, going to that next level forward.
Yes.
So, hold on, no chats yet. We got some shy people tonight. So, Anise, what is it that you would like to share for tonight and what we'll be discussing?
Well, I don't know. I can't see how many people are on. It's like lagging. But I wanted to see where everybody was tuning in from. And I know on your midday sessions, I saw, was it today or yesterday, where you were talking about, you were asking entrepreneurs, what is their number one challenge?
Yes, as far as like a particular struggles and things like that, that we work on. And I find that, a lot of us, and I personally used to have those struggles as well. As far as, I got a lot of feedback as far as time management, being able to balance, working full time and starting a business or getting everything together. I had things as far as being shared as like fear of rejection. what else? People, like, as far as engaging and interacting with people. One thing that was really, really good that I spoke about was about other people, like as far as the clientele and the people who they have to speak and pitch to, is lack of mindset. Like, other people who you speak and engage with, and I guess it's all about, attracting the right people around you that get it and have that mindset. But I thought that was pretty powerful. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was pretty much, and that's going to be a chat series that I'll be continuing to discuss and talk on throughout the week. So that's on weekdays. Today I went at 11 because I had a ceremony to attend today. But weekdays at 12:30 p.m. Eastern time, Monday through Friday. There we are. Okay, we got my brother on Thriving Nation. Mm-hmm. Yes, hello.
That's funny. He has the same last. That's funny.
Yeah, the whole Thriving thing started with my brother, so I'm the first lady of the Thriving Nation, so that'll be all coming together soon with that. So yeah, as far as like struggles with entrepreneurships, like, I think everybody has the same thing. And the thing with entrepreneurships is like, you are your own boss, you are your own person. And let me tell you, entrepreneurship, when you really dive in, you learn a lot about yourself. Mm-hmm. So then that's when the struggles come, because you can't hide behind a position. You can't hide behind your other coworkers. You can't hide behind your boss or anything else, or you can't really blame anything on anyone else. So entrepreneurship is a pretty, I think it's the best journey, because it's somewhere where you can work on your own self and growth and personal development, as well as, the next things that you want to progress and leave on.
Mm-hmm. Right. Has anybody said where they're from or?
No, guys, tune in. As far as, definitely tell us, for those who are viewing, state your city and state where you're tuning in from. We would love to hear where you guys are tuning in from. And thank you, Bobby.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Best sister, very proud of you. I'm the little sister, so, well, not the baby, but the little sister of all the brothers. So thank you. But yes, definitely let us know where you're tuning in from. Any particular questions or things like that you are wanting to get our feedback from myself or Anise, please definitely type in the chat. We would love to hear and share and start this series. This is a space, like I said, a safe haven and a sacred space for you. We want to hear from you. It's not about myself. It's not about Lauren. It's not about Anise. It's about you guys. So, things that you particularly would like to discuss and talk on. I love every week when we come on, because we have really good conversations on here on Tuesday nights, and we get some really good feedback. So we're here to open the floor to you guys, as far as, if we want to continue to share as like what you particularly struggle on. What is it that I kind of like I said, the topic for the week is like, what do you personally struggle with for yourself, whether in your personal life, for your business, or how to merge between the two. Mm-hmm. So we definitely want to hear back from you. So please type in the chat and let us know. Mm-hmm. I'm going to recap while you guys are typing in the chat. Over the last few weeks, we've been doing this, and we had discussed as far as the initiating of your purpose. Mm-hmm. We talked about having a purpose crisis. That was a really good chat. And I've seen a few people share that. We've had about over about 500 views with that one, like coming right out. Mm-hmm. From finishing. So that was a really good one. I personally enjoyed as far as having a purpose crisis, because a lot of times it's a blind spot where people miss. So that was a really good one. Mm-hmm. What else did we discuss over the last couple of weeks? Just recapping.
Understanding where you are in terms of your purpose cycles, life
cycles. There you go. Mm-hmm. We talked about purpose cycles. That was a really good one. We got a lot of revelations from that, where people were definitely appreciative, and it was exactly what they want to hear. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we have one in as far as saving money.
I can't see the chat.
You see it?
I can't see it. Again.
Oh, okay.
What is the question?
What do you mean as far as saving money? Particularly, what's your question as far as like with just personally, as far as like, you know, saving money to start a business? What is it that you mean, Bobby, there as far as your question? I would definitely say saving money is,
The video
it takes
out on my end.
Huh?
The video keeps going out on my end.
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh gosh. I will say with saving money, it is it takes some due diligence and focus to make sure that you got to know as far as what you save for. So he said, personally, to be able to save for rainy days. Oh, I really want to talk about that right there. So a lot of times, okay, let me just kind of give a quick story. So I'm always was pretty good with money. I'm always was really well with saving, but here's the problem. You know, we hear saving for rainy days, right? And not really quite knowing what that is. You know, like, because after a while, for me, in my mind, I'm like, okay, save for rainy days. And then once you get all this money, it's just like, okay, then what? Like, you know, as far as rainy days. So, you know, the rainy days, I mean, I guess it's more the space of having like an emergency. So one of the things I personally do, and I also teach personal financial success. So I always make sure, you know, as far as, you know, understanding particular things of where you are financially. So if it's like a lot of times, many people have either income problem, either a budgeting and spending problem, or one of the other areas that I talk about is definitely taxes. A lot of us are really blind to the fact of where our money is going, which is why entrepreneurship, starting a business, things like that is very, very great and important, because when you have a business, you have a lot more loopholes and leeways. And of course, I am not a fan of this man, but Trump, you know, he's a businessman. You know, when he talks about, you know, the loopholes and things like that you could save where he does, you know, he doesn't really pay much on taxes. There is a definitely an avenue there where you could, and one of the main places is starting business. So, you know, I'm not going to fill up your ears with that, but if you guys ever want more information about that, please definitely inbox me personally. But it's really important for you to know where you are financially. You know, definitely you need to do like a financial assessment with yourself. So as far as reviewing to see how much you have come in. So when it comes to saving, like one of the things I had to do, because I was saving for, you know, my first business, I always had to get my money together to save for my business and then to be able to start bringing in money. One of the things you should always do is like your own personal financial assessment with yourself. Get a paper, a chart, or whatever. I have, you know, things that I share, you know, with my clients and stuff, but, you know, it's simple, like literally write down all your bills, things that you have going out, even to miscellaneous things, because you can't forget when you're paying for, you know, laundry detergent, soap, you know, other things like that, miscellaneous things that you need. Write down all your bills and things where your money is continuously always going out. Once you write that down, now you know how much you have to be able to have that you're spending out every month or whatever the case may be. Then you need to have another column where you're going over and look at where you can cut these things out. So let me tell you where that can go. So for me, mine was food. I was always out eating out. Because I'm traveling, you know, I move a lot. I have clients in the morning and I'm just grabbing food because I'm going to the next client or whatever the case may be. But I had to cut back because, you know, I was like literally spending close to almost like sometimes $500 a month eating out or whatever. So those were one thing, you know, if you can cut back on, you know, certain things, if it's particular TV, you know, you have so many things that, you know, that you can use to do streaming TV where you can cut. So analyze things that you can go, you know, is it a necessity? Is it something that you just personally like to do and love? Rate it. If it's something that, you know, you can't give up or anything. Once you do that, Now you want to knock out the crumbs of what you can kind of save. This is where you start to have like a cash flow. Okay. So if you can cut back on eating out all the time, if you smoke cigarettes, smoke other things, things like that, like you can start cutting down on those particular things. Once you do, now you have an amount that you can work towards, particularly your savings, and now you have a cash flow. What you do with that is where you get a particular savings account or something. Go to bankrates.com. That's where you can find like a good savings account where you can find where you got, a little higher interest rate. It's not going to be much, but just to start out. And you start taking that extra cash flow or bills or things that you cut and put that into the savings account. Because guess what? If you do not do that, you have the extra money, but it's slipping through your fingers like you grabbing sand. If you ever go to a beach and just grab sand, it just starts to quickly dissolve through your fingers. That's the same thing that you're going to do if you do put it to the side. I mean, I get you, you don't trust banks or whatever, but you gotta, the best thing is $1 under your mattress is not going to accrue anything if you put it into a particular savings account and other things. So that's it. I hope that was helpful and give a gist because it is really important. One of the things as far as, what we talked about here is that you do need to be a good money manager, especially if you are functioning having your own business and managing your personal life. You need to get really well with managing your money. And one of the things I had to tell myself is that I'm an excellent money manager, and had to figure stuff out on how to kind of do that or whatever. So that's to answer your question. That's one of the gist of really good thing is just to take and give your money direction, because your money is in your pocket and it's blocked up with many things that you're doing, and it's most of the time if you're just going about it and you're not taking the moment to really kind of calculate as far as your income and things coming in, your money, your millions of dollars is in the income that you already have coming in a lot of times. I read something, I can't remember who said it, but they said most millionaires spend an extra 60 seconds to 90 seconds every time when they're spending money or whatever to track what they're doing with their money, their money coming in, tracking, writing out what business expenses. Every transaction or whatever they said, they spend an extra 60 to 90 seconds than the average person. That little bit of time, because they're being excellent money managers, is what keeps them to being a millionaire or whatever the case may be.
Right. Right, that's good. I'll say this on the whole money piece. I'm a strategist, so one, entrepreneurs, small business owners, if you breathe, two things you need to understand on what to save on and how to put value on it. A lot of times people, if you don't value your time, if you don't understand the value of time, you're also not going to understand the value of money. You're not going to understand the value of money. And so how do you value $20? How do you value it? Do you value it in terms of what it can buy you? And do you value it in terms of how you can sow it or how you can get a return on it, what you can do with it right now that's going to get you the highest return? And it's the same thing with your time. And so if you find that you have money that's slipping through your fingers, I dare say you have time that's slipping through your fingers too. And as an entrepreneur, you're going to lose money in the long run if you don't understand how to spend your time, how to save your time, where to put your time. When it comes to entrepreneurs, small business owners, I believe in the hustle. I believe in the straight up and down hustle. I believe in having multiple streams of income. I believe in small business. I believe in using your skills to hustle a savings. When it comes to most of us, I can hear talking. That's funny. Y'all know I'm crazy. Well, you don't know I'm not crazy. Okay. I'm a good steward of my crazy. No. Okay. So what happens is most of us, number one, when Lauren says that you have to assess where you are with your money, you need to assess where you are with your life and where you are with your time. If you don't know where you're going, then where are you going to put your money? And you don't know where you're going, where are you going to put your time. And so even though I'm doing things right now, I'm doing 2 or 3 things right now, am I getting the highest yield possible on my time and my money? And so when I know where I'm going, then I understand, when I know what I have coming in and I know what I have coming out, and I know what I need to invest. I know what I need to invest. Should you have an emergency fund? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because emergencies are going to happen. The car is going to break down. You're going to need tires. Your roof may come off in a storm. You're going to have emergencies. That's just the way life works. However, once you get that emergency, you get a stack for emergency, then you have to, how much do you need to invest in your future? Where are you going with this small business? Where are you going ultimately? Ultimately, 7 streams of income is not 4 businesses and 3 jobs. 7 streams of income are 7 different streams of income. And then also, where are you giving? I believe in giving. I believe in sowing. I believe in all of that. And so if you're having issues with saving money, you are probably also having issues with saving time. And really, that's a vision issue. Where are you going? If you understand where you're going, it's everything in your life is going to have a place to go. Every piece of hour, every piece of minute, every piece of second, and every coin is going to have somewhere to go.
Absolutely. I think that is super adamant, because I would say like I said, even from the beginning when I started, I said I was always good with savings, but I didn't know what I was saving for. I didn't, you know what I mean? So you just end up having this money, and then eventually you're just going to go ahead and spend it. So now it's like every dollar and penny has direction. You get what I'm saying? And especially, like I said, the more you start digging deeper and stuff into entrepreneurship, and like I said, it had to come to a point where I did find my vision. I found my purpose and my why. You get what I'm saying? So now it's like I know I have a goal and a vision of where I want to go. I know the income goal that I want. You know, I know the particular things that I need to, set in place. We have a comment as far as, yes, Zachary, financial education is the way. So that's another thing. If you're lacking financial education, you're going to lack saving money. So one of the things that you should always do is, level up, boss up. We're talking about bossing up here. Boss up on your financial education. That is one of the things I'm super adamant about and I preach about. On Mondays, I have Money Monday calls where I teach and coach about financial education. Where's your money going? Why are you in the financial rut that you're particularly in? Mm-hmm. And you're on this hamster wheel. And a lot of the education comes from, like I said, the blind spots that you're missing is, as far as taxes and inflation, those are the 2 death killers that are hitting us in the face. But that's once you have your ducks in a row, right? But as Anise said, if you have a lack of vision and purpose, then everything is just not going to flow. You have a lack of a flow there when you're stuck in your own personal life and where you want to go and do. Money is just an energy source, okay? So for those who do and believe, so it comes in a space of what the type of energy and things that you put into. So, you can attract money and things come, business come, things like that. But a lot of times, how you see people who are, win the lottery, right? Like they always say within the next a year or 2, they end up being broke again because a lot of times they had a lack of vision, as Anise particularly talked about. They had no direction. They lacked financial education, and they had no direction with their money. They just are good spenders, but they don't know how to allocate their money. They don't know how to give their money in any direction. They lack being a financial a money manager. Like I said, start telling yourself every day. One of my affirmations is I'm an excellent money manager. You know what I mean? And I learn ways of what to do and grow my money. As Anise said, you need to make sure that you have an emergency fund. There's 2 emergency funds that I always coach about and teach about. Is you need to have a mini emergency fund. A mini emergency fund is about 3 months, about 2,000 to 3,000, depending on where you are. Some people have kids and stuff like that, but you want to have as far as that you can get liquid quick, in case the roof got messed up, the kid got really, really sick and you got to pay all these bills, or their dog. Oh my God, people get so caught up. One of my clients had to pay like $1,500 just boom like that because her cat. I'm like, a cat? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like little emergencies and stuff. Yeah, it's like they're like humans. Like I didn't even know, like, you know, cats get diabetes and stuff like that. So, you want to make sure that you have a mini emergency, and this is, you know, from $1,000 to $3,000 or whatever. Then you want to have a true emergency, but this is what you start to accrue over time. A true emergency is 6 months of savings. So whatever your bills is for a month, remember in the beginning, I talked about making that assessment and understanding the income that you have like coming in and what you need every month, what you know, money that you could particularly live off for 6 months. So to answer your question, like that rainy days, those are rainy days, you get what I'm saying? But you don't want to just have that money stacking and sitting in an account. Once you start building that, then you need to go and speak to like a financial advisor or something like that that can help you give your money some direction and get into an investment. Whether you believe in don't trust banks or not, as long as you're going to be there, you're going to stay on ground zero. Let me tell you, you're going to stay on ground zero. You have, if you're not in.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
I was going to say this. Even, you know, before you start, when you start dealing with financial literacy, you have to deal with people's relationship with money.
Mm-hmm. And that's the first thing to start.
If we grew up robbing Peter to pay Paul because we were hustling, I believe in the hustle, but you got to have a right relationship with money, or it's always going to be fast money, easy come, easy go. And for an entrepreneur, for a small business owner, it's the same principle. You get $1,000 in on Tuesday, you have $1,500 go out on Wednesday, because it's a mindset. Your relationship with money is infecting you being able to hold on to money and have vision beyond today, to have vision for your money, to have vision for your actions and your activity. And so if you have this mindset of, oh, I can get another client, right? For lack of a better word or phrase, it's like drug dealing.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Let me go out here and let me hustle doing somebody a website. Let me hustle a new coaching client, right? And you're not looking to be with that person or to keep that piece of business for the long term. And so that customer equals money, that paycheck equals money. And so you got to deal with your mindset and your relationship with money. Do you know what your relationship is with money? What is the internal dialogue that you have when it comes to how do you feel about the money you have or you don't have in your household?
And I'll say some of the dialogue that has been definitely in my household and definitely within our culture that you hear a lot. And many, you know, I'm not just saying, oh, only Black people or anything, but some of the dialogues that start to kind of affect your subconscious is what y'all probably gonna know what I'm gonna say. Money don't grow on trees. What do I look like? The bank? You know, I ain't made of money, and you know, money don't come easy, and you know, it's so many things that start to affect our subconscious that literally I've been hearing these things from childhood.
Yep.
Like I always talk about this. I say this all the time. We were born to win, but hardwired to fail. These are hardwired things that starts to alter things, or money is the root of all evil. I mean, it's like, you know, things like that. And it's not that the money, it's like the love of money, but that's a whole nother subject. But, you know, like the evil doings and stuff like that as far as money. But, you know, those are things that we particularly hear, like, you know, money is evil. Rich people, they just this and that. And now you start having this stigma about money. So guess what? You start having a particular relationship against money. And I love that you said that, Anise, because I went to a workshop some time ago, and it talked about the relations. It was in Baltimore, and it talked about the relationships of what you have with money. So, you know, one of the exercises that we did that was really good, and this will be very helpful for anybody who's tuning in, write this down. Write everything that you feel about money. Like the first things that come about to mind. Like as soon as you start, how do you feel about money? Then once you kind of start writing down, you start looking at your internal dialogue. So then what you could do is kind of say on two sides. You could say like the pros and cons. So like the good thing that you feel about money and the bad things that you feel about money. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I started to realize is I at one point was scared to get a lot of money because I was going to think everybody wanted everything from me because I was always the provider and things in my family. Then I'm like, oh, and then taxes. So I subconsciously put a cap on my income, money being able to flow towards me. Like I said, money is the energy. So that was a really powerful exercise. It sounds kind of cheesy for those who don't believe in it at first, but when you write it down, you start to really see your internal dialogue. When you sit down with yourself, write how you feel, like the first things that come to mind about money. You start looking at if money is something that you have, that you look as a value, or if it's just like, you don't value it because you look at it as a hustle, the next dollar, the next customer. You see your customers as a dollar sign. Another thing is too, like where you start to see if you value your money or whatever. Have you ever had a time where you might have lost $1 or something and you're like, oh, it's just $1? And I had times where I used to do that, or you weigh something and I'm like, oh, it's just $1. Right. That shows that how you value particularly money. You know what I mean? Because $1 definitely can accrue. So how many times over time have you particularly said that? And I had to pay attention to that. Like I personally was like, hey, I always thought I valued money, but I didn't really pay it no mind. Or if I drop like a penny or a dime or things like that, you just kind of like, oh, whatever, and you don't value, like I said, it's a monetary thing. So you do value in a way. So now I had to rewire myself. One of the exercises in that workshop that they had us do is like, if you even see a penny on the floor, pick it up and be like, I'm a money magnet. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You have so much excitement as if it was $100 bill, because you need to have just as much excitement as if you have $1 bill to $100 bill, because it's paper. You know what I mean? It's just money. It's things that we trade, to get the things that we want. So another thing is not to focus so much on money, focus on what you want. That's why vision is very important. Mm-hmm. Vision is not, like I said, when I even have clients that say, how do I get more money? What is your vision? What is it that you want? Because those are the things they're going to buy. Why? Even write down, why do you want more money? It's not for more money. It's to be able to buy my mom a house, or be able to give my kids this, or be able to afford for my kids to go to a better school. It's not the money. It's the freedom that money gives, or this particular feeling, or whatever the case that money gives for you to have. So that's why it's very important for you to have vision on what you want when it comes to, money, because that's what will buy, or particularly those things that you need. And then sometimes you realize that you can get a lot of these things without money. There's, a lot of time freedom and stuff like that I said I needed. I realized that it wasn't money at the, end of the day. Right. That I was like looking for. Money is not the destination. You got to really figure out what's your vision so you can be able to drive that destination.
Right. But the recommendation would be that you do have a handle on how to do finances before jumping, leaping, launching out into doing your own thing, or you will find yourself in seasons of trouble and in seasons of struggle, because you don't understand cash flow. Mm-hmm. You don't understand cash flow. You have to have a grasp of how cash flow works. You have to have a schedule of income and how that works before launching. You can launch, but you may find yourself drowning from time to time, being a life raft. And if we would just take some time to just learn, understand, how do we do with money? And I will say this, what is your weak spot? Every person has a weak spot when it comes to finances. If it's, you're single and if you're a dude and you start dating someone and you whining and you dining and you doing this, that's a weak spot. Mm-hmm. That's a weak spot, yeah. Oh, yes. If you're a lady and if you're a lady and you do retail therapy, you're going to have to find a way, certainly as a business owner. If you are a business owner, you're going to have a lot of no's. I must say that again. You're gonna run up on a lot of no's. You're gonna run up on a lot of people who will be like, yeah, tell me more. And then you tell them more and they don't give you a coin. Mm-hmm. You're gonna have a lot of people who will you do work for and it ends up being free. And so there is a debriefing moment. There's a debriefing hour where you've got to get yourself back right, where you've got to honor the skill, honor the gifts, honor the business. And a lot of times when you're learning and you're going through those seasons of no, my recommendation, fall in love with the word no before you launch. But if you have not, a lot of people like to medicate that. And if you do retail therapy or if you drink, sips tea, that's money, that's that gets expensive. You have to find what in your lifestyle is expensive and what habits do you have and how are you going to fund those habits. So for me, retail therapy, I turned it into a hustle. So I do wardrobe styling on the side. So I'm purchasing clothes for other people and I'm using their money. So I'm still getting the same fix. It's just not coming to my closet. I don't need it. Honestly, my closet, I don't need any more clothes. I don't have anywhere to put them. I'm giving away stuff all the time. So how can I turn the thing that would take my money into something that can serve me? So you've got to know yourself. It's great to have your schedules. It's great to know these are when I get paid and this is when I pay out stuff and this is how much is in my savings. But what happens when you go through a season of you're down, or you go through a season of I'm not in a good place in my life right now. You'll see it'll be little. First it'll be like, oh, I can spend this. Oh, I can spend this. And then all of a sudden it turns into you've ran through your whole savings or you've ran through everything because you were going through a tough season. Who are you? What is your weak spot? What is your blind spot? And then what is your system of accountability?
That's a good one.
What is your system of accountability? If you know your weak spot, if you're not good with money, you need to submit your finances to somebody where they comb through everything you spend and they make you look at them eyeball to eyeball. And you have to say, why did you go to Chipotle 3 times in one day?
Oh, that's nice.
Right? Why did you go to Chipotle 3 times in one day? Why do you have a gym membership you don't use? Can I be 100 with you guys, even though there's like 0 people on? I'm going to be 100 with nobody on. Okay.
You can be 100 with me. Yes, okay, please. This is what it's all about. We don't do 99. We don't do 90, 50. We do 100%.
So the gym is my fix. And I do CrossFit. And CrossFit is expensive. And so every person should have, you have your budget and you have, this is my limit. Everybody should have a limit. This is where I come up to and I'm not spending anymore. You don't run and spend everything. This is my limit. This is, even if you have a surplus, you should still have a limit in your surplus. Mm-hmm. Even if you have spending money, there should be a limit in your spending money on how much you were willing to spend for this particular activity. If I'm a lady, I get my nails done. You need to have a limit. If I'm a lady and I like to buy shoes, boo-boo, you need to have a limit. If the shoes are $80 and your limit is $50, you better not spend because you're making a habit. So, when I used to work out, at first I started out running, I've always been like against the gym, anti-gym. To me, it's a waste of money. So I bought like P90X and all of these systems. I did them at home and I was faithful. And then I got turned on to CrossFit and it ruined me. And so a gym membership is like $30, $40 a month, and that's on the high side. CrossFit, $150 to $200 a month. Do I have it? Absolutely. But there's a limit. So I went from free to $30 to $40 a month, and I am a business owner. Yes, I have multiple businesses. I do multiple things. I'm a hustler, but at the same time, for me, this is a stretch. If I'll be loosey-goosey in one area, I'll be loosey-goosey in another. So do you know what I do?
Go ahead, what you do, girl?
I clean the gym.
Oh.
I clean the gym to get a discount on my membership.
I think that's pretty clever what you said as far as the Like, especially for those, like, I hear that all the time with the whole retail therapy. And you started styling. Like, that is
I had
genius.
a jewelry fetish thing, so I started selling jewelry. So I would get my jewelry inside of the pieces that I was selling. I would hide my pieces that I wanted to take. So I wasn't losing the profit, and I was still getting what I wanted. So I would do like conferences. I would set up a booth, and I would sell jewelry. So I can still, here's the thing, guys, you don't have to sacrifice what you want. You got to find a way to get what you want. And you develop a habit to get not sacrifice what you want. Now, I'm not, this is within reason. Well, Elise, I want 5 Louis Vuitton bags and I want a Range Rover. Okay, baby. Okay. Here's the thing, because me having to put the work in to get what I want, it makes you decide, is this worth it? I still got to give up my time. I still got to clean the toilet behind people at the gym. How bad do you want this thing? How bad do you want to do CrossFit? How bad do you want this? So it makes you consider, what am I spending my time on, right? So for me, going to the gym is precious. If you want me to, meet with me, you're meeting around my gym schedule because I have an investment. I'm investing extra time, and my time equals money. So it takes me about an hour and a half to clean the gym. I charge $150 an hour to spend an hour time with me. So that me cleaning the gym for 1 hour is $150 worth of my time. So, but for me, working out of the gym is priceless. So it's worth it.
Right. So it's interesting. Technically, you are getting paid for it because, like I said, you said it's $150, something that you save, and what you get out of it that is priceless. So that's paying you way more that's particularly needed. So, that was the same thing with me. Like, a lot of the things that I particularly wanted, I also am a big health enthusiast and things like that. So, when I spent a lot of money on supplements or whatever. So, I looked for, oh my God, I used to spend a lot of money on supplements. But what I did was found a particular supplement line that I personally like, and I had promoted it. Like, I was actually faster and things like that. I don't grow and build it too much, but it's like some of these things, like I said, I talked about earlier today on my live about a short-term sacrifice for a long-term gain. I grew it enough to the point that it pays me every month and my supplements are paid for. So I still get like $150 check or so every month, and I haven't even promoted or sold a product, but it continued to grow on. Of course, it was, network marketing or whatever. So now the supplements that I love that I used to spend so much money for is paid for. So find something particularly that it is that you like and do, and find ways for you to get it. Like I said, you don't have to lose it, but you do, finding particular ways. Like you like fashion and jewelry, look into, selling it, or, there's Tracy Lynn companies out there where you can make money while you sell it.
Sell some makeup if you into makeup.
Yeah.
Oh God. So that you're one, getting a discount, and then 2, you're doing something that you like. Right now, I also hustle. I do, some websites, landing pages, and logos. I do those styles. So I hustle those to get my supplements. I'm not going to sacrifice what is important to me. I'm going to find a way to learn a new skill, to get better at a new skill, and I'm getting paid for something, and I'm still hustling what I need in my lifestyle.
Absolutely. Yep. I always find, like I said, with everything I kind of associate with myself is, like I said, it's always congruent with something that is for me, like for my business. If it's congruent with things that I do in my own personal life or lifestyle, and things like that. So, like I said, I talked about this before, and this is somewhere where when you try and do different things, definitely you start to find passions and new loves and stuff like that.
Right.
the things that you do, the connections and the people that you meet while you're there is another thing. So you never know where things start to open up for you. And for me, like I said, every journey and everything that I went on, like I was in makeup, artistry and stuff like that. And it's some of the people, it was actually, I have a client that I met that I was trying to get her, sell her some makeup and do her makeup. She's my personal training client. You get what I'm saying? So, and that was years in contact. So let me tell you, one of the most important things is when you do get out there and you do these different things, build your network, meet people and stay connected, because like I said, your network is your net worth. So that's always really important. And like I said, it's also like a journey where you're enjoying yourself, your life, and the things that you love to do. One of the things my mentor told me when I told her I was just so lost, I didn't know what I wanted to do and blah, blah, blah. And she was just like, find something that you love to do that you'll do for free, but get paid to do it. And all the time getting paid to do it isn't financially upfront, just like Anise said. Like, she loves to do CrossFit and things like that. So she found ways that is not paying her per dollar, but she's she's find something that she loves to do that was pretty much something that is like a stress reliever, I'm sure, or whatever for you. So for anybody, if there is anybody on, it's weird because on my phone it says more viewers than it is that's up here. But for anybody is on, definitely type in the chat. Let us know what city and state you're particularly tuning in from. We're going to be wrapping up shortly, but if you have any particular questions, some of the things that we talked about so far here on the chat was about saving money. What does saving money mean? What kind of, how do you particularly look and view the value of the dollar of money? If you don't value money, you're not going to do well with saving. What is your relationship with money? If you have a particular relationship in a dialogue when it comes to money, you're going to lack on that area as well. Also, too, is anything that we dug out throughout this conversation, your vision and your purpose as you are tuning into the purpose lesson, and your purpose is what's going to do to be able to that you want, and also potentially save and make money or whatever the case may be, to do what you want. So there was a lot of revelations. It looks like from the comments too, we had an aha moment. So I know the comment and have one that said, I never thought of that. Thank you, Anise. I think that was what you were talking about as far as like, the vision, knowing your vision when it comes to, thing along the lines as, what was going to drive you to think. Is there anything else that you wanted to particularly talk on? Please, like anybody who's tuned in, definitely type in the chat. But anything else, Anise, that you wanted to touch on?
That went out again. No.
Oh, did I?
No, I don't know what's going on. But it's all good.
You're very clear on my end, and I'm looking from also my phone. You're clear too.
Maybe it's me. No, I'll just say I think all roads lead back to finding. If you don't know, okay, Anise. Lauren, I don't know what my purpose is. Anise, Lauren, I don't know what kind of business I want. I know I want a business. Anise, Lauren, this is just where I am. Anise, Lauren, blah, 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 da, 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 da. Okay. The one way that you can begin to structure while you're waiting for those answers to come to you, and this deals with time and this deals with money. We're talking about two entities that many of us are wasting. Two entities that many of us are wasting. That you need to sit down and you need to make a list of what is it that you don't want. And 6 months, where don't you want to be? And 6 years, where don't you want to be? And then build that list, and then directly from that list, you can see where you want to be, right? So in 6 months, I don't want to be blah, 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 blah. So that means in 6 months, I want to be blah, 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 blah. It's a direct correlation. So oftentimes, and that's where we thrive in marketing. That's my foundation, PhD in marketing. We thrive in marketing because the consumer doesn't know what they want. We tell you what you want. We tell you what you want because you don't know what you want. And so on this side of the business, if you don't know what you want, then you start with what don't I want? What don't I want? I don't want to be. I don't want to be. I don't want to be. In 10 years, I don't want to be still working, right? In 10 years, I don't want to be still paying on my student loans. In 10 years, so that means in 10 years, I will be retired from what I'm doing now. I don't believe in retirement. I will be retired from what I'm doing now and I've transitioned to something else. It means in 10 years, my student loans will be paid off. So if I say in 10 years, my student loans will be paid off. Okay, and needs another transparent moment. She owes $185,000 in student loans. Let that sink in.
Ooh, I'll take my $60,000.
Yes, I owe $185,000 in student loans. So
I mean 40. Yeah.
Right. So here's the thing. I said in 10 years, I don't want to be paying student loans. So I know I'm today, 10 years, $185,000. So right there, I just developed the goal. So I'm going to start breaking that down. And so I may get to 8 years and say, you know what? I don't want to even have this in 8 years. And so now I've got this goal. I've got $185,000. And I know in 8 years, I want this thing gone. So now I've got a dollar amount. And now I begin to split that dollar amount in between activities, business, investments, job, side hustles. I have a side hustle just for the student loan, so that it does not affect or infect my cash flow. Side hustle for it. So it does not infect my investing in another business entity that I need to do. And so sit down, and we're challenging you to do this. People who are going to watch this later on, I don't know why I just did that. We challenge you to sit down and develop a list of what you don't want. Develop a list for 6 months. What don't you want? What don't you want to see in your life? Where don't you want to be? What don't you want to be doing? And that's going to tell me directly what you want to be doing. Start there. You've got to know, you have to have some sort of roadmap for where you're going, even if you don't know the vehicle by which you're going to get there. Develop some sort of roadmap.
Absolutely. I love that. It's funny because I'm sitting here listening. I'm like, wow, I kind of subconsciously did that. Like, I remember, like I said, one of the things that, like, I always say entrepreneurship. I didn't even know what entrepreneurship was. That wasn't something I pursued. It came from saying something I don't want. So it's funny you said that because I've shared my story before, how I even started getting into entrepreneurship and saying other ways. When I found out how much, the person where I was working who made the most money at the facility was only making $4 more than I made. Mind you, I was only making $25,000 a year after taxes. So you're only making $4. When I learned that, I was like, and I'm supposed to do this for 40 years? Okay, that's what I don't want. Like, immediately I was able to, I don't want that. So by automatically, I didn't do the list, but I already said I don't want that. That's something that I'm not going to be that. I don't know how or what the heck is out there, but that's something what I don't want. And then I had to sit, okay, what is it that you do want? Then I started asking myself particular questions about, what is it? Okay, so if this is something I do not want, what is it that I need to do? What is it that, and then that's when I started asking myself, what is it that I really love? What is it that I want? I had to start.
Do? Right.
Huh?
What can I do? What can I do is the first level, because you can do
exactly.
You can do it. Then it goes to what can I do to what don't I want to do? And so you start throwing out stuff. And then it
starts to turn into what I must do, because now there's times where, what you don't want to do comes sneaking back around. And then it's like, no, I must do this so I don't go back to what I do not want. So for me, like I said, are we still live? I think it shut off 1 second.
It looks like it's still alive. Yeah, it's still alive. I see a little button.
Yeah, but on here, I'm going to continue going, but on my thing, it's done. It's out. So we're going to wrap up anyway. So if it's still on, like I said, this is broadcast is taped. I'm going to end up putting putting a video out and sharing it on YouTube. But when, for me, like I said, I had many other opportunities where sometimes things started getting tight and I'm like, oh God, I got to go back. I might have to go back to a particular job or whatever the case may be. And like I said, it also starts off what you do not want, then what you said, what can I do or whatever. Then it's like, what must I do? And then it's like, that's how I feel like once you get to the point where it's like, what I must do, you never go back down that road, to kind of resurface the things that you don't want. But make sure that you identify what you don't want, but don't keep saying it too, because if sometimes things you don't want, you ever had times where something you kept saying what you don't want reappears because you never found an action plan to make sure that you don't, like what you don't want. A lot of times there's many times people say what they don't want with no action plan. So when you say what you don't want with no action plan, as far as what can I do and what must I do, you're going to get the things that you don't want.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like law of attraction right there.
Absolutely. And so I think even when you're at the layer of what I don't want, and that's really, you're trying to develop a roadmap. Once you get past the what I don't want, you need to throw that list away.
Yes.
That's not even an option anymore. That's the point. It's not even an option anymore. Now from what I don't want, I have developed what I do want. And you will edit that list as you grow older, as you get going. You will still keep editing that list. Then you go to what I can do. And from the place of what I can do, you can do a lot of things. Some things you say, I don't want to do. So even in your can-do list, you have a list of A, B, C. I want to do this the most. I can do this the most. Not so much. It's the lesser of two evils. So then you begin to split that list up. And so when you have a moment of, I need to do an extra hustle, you're still pulling from a list of things that you chose to do as a lesser evil of something that you don't. What I don't want is not even on my list. What I don't want to do is not even on my list of what I must do, because I am creating, I am crafting my own experience at every level. I'm crafting my own experience at every level from which I'm living. I'm choosing this. It's not choosing me. I am not reacting. I am responding to everything that's coming my way. So even in my response where I had to go pick up an extra hustle, it is something that I chose to do. I'm just not out there like, oh, well, I got to go pick up something extra at Kroger. No, that's not on my list. So I go and I pull from my hat with list in my hat and I say, oh, you know what? This is something I've got to go back to. So if I needed to, I would go back to selling jewelry because it's in my hat. I choose this experience. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely makes sense. So I choose experience. Maybe we should kind of recap on that next week.
Is there anybody on?
No, that's what I said. I think like I said on my end is showing like the live end, but we are at the top of the hour just about, guys. So for anybody, someone was just tuned in and tuned out. Like I said, the replay will be shared, so of course people will tune in from there. Definitely tune in next week, next Tuesday evening, while we are going to have an open chat. Like I said, this is an open chat series. So this was a good series how we been able to roll over and talk about from the initiation of saving money and how the vision is very important when it comes to, finding your purpose and things like that. When it comes to basically, like, there's so many layers deeper to saving money. And like I said, what we talked about today is as far as your relationship with money, the way you view and value money, because if you have a lack of relationships as far as with that and how you value money, you're not going to do well with particularly saving it. What is your driving purpose, or what are you going to do to even get the money in order to save? Because when you do, it's like kind of like you have a ignition, behind you. You have something to get you to go and flourish and thrive to be able to, get the money or things that you need to save or have or whatever. If you're just saving to save, it's not gonna, like I said, I was at that point where I just had money, I saved to save, but I had no purpose, no drive. My relationship with money was poor. I didn't even really have one. I let all the things that have been said over the years just kind of, it's like a running machine subconsciously that ran which is why when I did have the money and saved it, and like I said, I explained, when you don't have those foundations that we discussed, it's like you picking up sand and it's just slipping through your fingers. That's what the money is going to do. So I hope this was great for you guys. We had a lot of people tuning in and out today. We had people on and off. So I don't know, hopefully it broadcast, but this will be shared and saved over on YouTube. And I'll just also go over. So tune in next week with Anissa and I for the Purpose Lab Boss Up Chat Series, a safe haven, a place for all entrepreneurs or anyone who wants to go and level up and boss up to the next level. This is a place where we come on and chat. So bring your topics, your questions, or anything next week, and tune in, and I'll see you all next Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Bye.
Good night, guys.